Today, I thought I'd have a bit of a nationalist rant about how great a country is. But don't worry, my country of choice is Wales, so it's allowed. I'm a bit Welsh myself, as you can plainly tell from my sonorously lilting tones. But I grew up in England, and my parents are Welsh, Scottish and English, which is not as mathematically improbable as it seems at first glance. Accordingly, I think of myself as British. I support Wales in the rugby, England in the cricket, and sort of Wales in the football, but practically speaking England, and even more practically speaking, I don't care about football. So I consider I can have my pick of the British nations to root for, and I'm going with the Welsh because, by and large, they're the nicest. The Scots come across as chippy and often violent, and while of course I realise that's a baseless generalisation and that I'm in little danger of being glassed by Lorraine Kelly, the other Scottish stereotypes, the ones about alcohol-related deaths and child obesity levels, they come with statistics attached. The English, meanwhile, are smug and inherently right-wing. Remember that without the Welsh and Scottish vote, England wouldn't have had a left-wing government until 1997, and we didn't even get one then. As for the Irish, I don't know why I don't warm to the Irish, given that the Irish are more or less genetically engineered to be warmed to. Maybe it's the terrorism. Yes, I think that's it. It may be unfair, but I can't help the fact that all the time I was growing up, during which I never went to Ireland, my main impression of it was as the place where all the scary news came from. Obviously, the news is much less scary now, and that's terrific, but perceptions like that take a while to change. Let's hope that in 20 years' time, the things most readily associated with Afghanistan are its genial stand-ups and its chains of gastropubs. Whereas the Welsh are great. They prioritise education and the arts like no one else. They have no aristocracy. They prefer rugby to football, which is quite right, and they're not always moaning on about the English like the others, and I include in that the English. OK, maybe they do occasionally, on a bad day, do a little bit of moaning on about the English. There's always going to be some bitterness from a smaller nation to the big fat one next door that keeps making up laws for it, but they're not really bothered. They pretty much only agreed to devolution out of politeness to stop the Scottish one seeming like such a massive deal. In all honesty, I'd say Yorkshire is more bitter about England than Wales is, and they're English. In fact, that is my St David's Day suggestion. Let's invite Wales to join in with England and expel Yorkshire to make room. It'll be a straight swap, and what we lose on the puddings, we'll gain on the rarebit. Oh, and for the sake of fairness, I suppose I ought to add that I was once nearly beaten up in Cardiff by a Scotsman.